there's joy, there's sadness, there's turn-ons galore, and so much more. This is a Black Lady sketch show at AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, AfterBuzzers! What's up, y'all? Hey, how you doing?
Music is just
Okay, yes, we are here for it. This is a Black Lady sketch show after show at AfterBuzz TV. I am one of your hosts, Nikki Bailey. I am joined by two gorgeous and wonderfully talented women, the beautiful Sade Spence.
Hello, can you introduce me all the time?
Of course. And the always fabulous Neema Skye.
hello somebody. No,
And our girl Simone Thomas is on vacation, but you know what? Hey girl, we holding it down for you.
Yes.
All right, guys, we have so much to talk about. We're going to talk about the sketches. We've got news. We've got our special segment. Oh my God. Let's get down to our general opinions, overall perspectives on this episode. Sade?
I liked it. It wasn't a total favorite, I would say, overall. I think there were some standout sketches, but overall it wasn't a huge winner for me, but still entertaining. Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of indifferences about this particular show. Of course, I thought it was great because I just love the comedy. I love how the girls just put these different sketches together. But I had a lot of questions. I had some moments where I was a little confused about exactly what was going on, even though I was laughing. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like so far this has been the weakest episode so far. Still, like you said, Sade, entertaining, but not like knock me to, like I didn't have to stand up in the middle to holler at how much I was laughing. Like that's what every episode up to this point I have been like walking around my room like, no, they didn't. But I didn't do that for this one. But we're gonna get into it.
For sure.
All right. So the first sketch was called The Joy. The guest star was Candy Alexander, who played Olivia Pope Mama on Scandal. Mm-hmm. Although she had a long, wonderful career way before that. She was in What's Love Got to Do with It. I think she choreographed for Whitney Houston. I mean, Candy Alexander, she's the shot. So one of those legends that's on the show that we don't always acknowledge as a legend, but recognize. I love that the Black ladies, that Robin Thede and them recognize. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
paying homage.
Super dope.
Paying homage. So my notes on this one. This is the one where they're like camping.
Yeah.
It was like a Clarington commercial to me.
It did.
Like, literally, I felt like it was a Clarington
It
commercial.
looked visually stunning. The colors were like,
Right.
Everyone's
Yes.
melanin was glowing.
They was popping, right?
Yeah.
They looked gorgeous, of course.
It was the joy.
It was all like it was also. I can't even talk straight because I'm laughing at the commercial / skit, because you know how you watch those commercials and you see all this movement and this lifestyle, and then there's somebody that comes on. So just because you have this happen in your life, these are you don't have to live this way. Like these are the side effects of the
Just
medicine.
because you're suffering from allergies doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to play soccer.
That voice of reason that comes in. Yeah,
exactly.
So Candy Alexander was the voice of reason that came in. My notes on this, what I wrote in my notes was, this is why Black women don't camp.
Me too.
Because we're joyful, but you combine our joy with nature,
It's not.
accidents abound. I'm just saying, it makes perfect sense to me.
She said, well, won't he do it? Well, I guess not. Because the tent just fell apart. And then, of course, like, I thought it was funny because they had on the same shirt. And we haven't really done that since middle school. But sometimes, when you go camping, you have the idea, well, let me just put a spaghetti string little shirt on.
You've been camping?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, they were at Runyon Canyon.
They were. I know. LA Insider tip. If you're watching the show, that was all done at Runyon Canyon, which is so not a place you camp. It's like basically a mall on a hill. Like, it's not in any way
Everyone goes
nature.
there to take Instagram
Right.
photos.
Right. And then they were like, we finally made it to the top. We made it to the top. And I was like, yeah.
Look over LA.
Right. The overlay. Because even when they were walking up the hill, I was like, that's a big downtown right there. I couldn't, because I didn't know if they were like trying to be funny.
Honestly, I was gonna say, I felt like that was on purpose.
Yeah, it was for
like,
sure.
It was totally obvious that it was supposed to be like, they didn't even try to hide it in the slightest.
No, at all.
It was like one of those, we camping.
Yeah, and I felt like it was a little bit of glamping too.
Yeah.
Because they all looked like really cute.
They did look.
They did.
And that's the thing at Runyon Canyon, though. Everyone does look cute. They go there.
That's true.
That's where you go to be seen exercising.
You go cute hiking.
Yeah, exactly.
But then all of a sudden, the chipmunk situation. I was a little confused by that, because I was like, wait, so she saw the chipmunk and the chipmunk, fell, and which. Honestly, I kind of went back to middle school. Like when you have those friends and you guys just have that camaraderie, and somebody falls and you're like, even though you're not supposed to, you laugh. Like
I one time fell in the ice. I'm in college. I one time fell in the ice. My best friend laughed at me. She has been laughing for years over me. So, and I'm still mad about it. So, So you do have those friends that you can laugh at them when they fall, but also that's not nice.
That's not. But Quinta fell. She fell straight.
But you know how much joy she had while falling,
oh my gosh.
And they were all laughing, and I don't know. I thought it was like a really interesting take on showing how Black women, we do have joy even through the most hurtful things.
Yes.
That's how we survive. That is how we survive.
It really is. And I love how they just showcase that. And even Candy said, people tend to think that Black women are only angry, and it just because we've decided to be assertive and speak about something doesn't mean we're angry. We automatically get told we're angry, while someone else is just pointing out the same point and they're assertive. So I think it was just so funny how they had to be like so overzealous with the joy to show that we do have joy.
We do have joy.
And it's in the most silliest way. Like, when are you ever going to see a cartoon chipmunk
trip and fall?
That's not going to happen.
Right. And I loved that Candy was like, he busted his chipmunk ass, which
you know what, she was okay whenever she got back up, but that chipmunk, honey, was hurt.
He died of embarrassment.
He did. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so Neema, tell our wonderful AfterBuzzer fans how we feel about them.
Yes, listen, we'd like to thank you guys for allowing us to be the ESPN of TV talk. Right now, we could use your help. If you are on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, and not just that, please subscribe, or if you're listening through iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. But no matter what you do, we need you to comment. You know why? Because without your comments, we would not be here. Myself, my girls, and the whole AfterBuzz TV team needs your comments and your support. So please continue to keep watching this show and many other shows throughout the week on the platform. We appreciate you.
We do.
Yeah.
We heart you guys. We totally love you. Okay, so then we get to our first post-event sketch, which I call Apocalypse 1. I don't know why I do that in my notes.
And it clearly says events.
/
apocalypse.
Right. And so they talk about what was the first person that ever made you want to grind, the first person that made
you think about sex.
Yeah,
what she said.
And so Danielle, hers was Andre 3000, which also tells you though how old they are though, because Andre 3000 wasn't even a glimmer in his daddy eye when I was a kid. But whatever, I'm old. But whatever.
I mean, you don't look it, so I'm like,
I know, thank you. That's that black melanin and fat, y'all. Keep it smooth. So Ashley's were Mulder and Scully, which I'm here for, from the X-Files.
Yes.
That was my favorite show for a long time. Robin was time Genuine was on what was it?
106 in Park. I was here
on
for
a gurney. Did you remember that episode? I don't even remember that episode.
I'm always here for Genuine.
Genuine is fine. I've seen every single 106 in Park, and
except that one. Right?
I'm like, why don't I remember him doing what she did unless she just did it?
Maybe she made it up. I don't know.
And you know what? And everybody's gonna go on YouTube and pull it up. They're gonna find it.
Find it. Let us know in the chat. Okay.
Right.
If you find it, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, because we don't remember that. And then then Quinta lost her virginity to Genuine. So let me ask you guys. I'm not going to ask you about your virginity, but who was the first time that you got warm, fuzzy, delicious, yummy feelings for somebody? Who was that? Who was your first celebrity sex crush?
I'm super embarrassed to say this, but I'm gonna put myself out there. I had the biggest crush on Immature, and I loved Marcus Houston, which is crazy because I saw him the other day. But seriously, but no, I did. But yeah, I I've always had this thing for like boy bands, and I just always loved like the lead singer. I have this thing about singers, like they have a way of being able to serenade you, with their nice voice and their vibratos and their runs and their words, and I'm just like, yes, like I don't know, I just always loved that nice, I guess you would call it jock singer. That's just me. So
the weird thing is, I'm like, how come I don't remember like a single person or anything?
Shut up.
I know, I'm telling you, but I
gotta come up with something,
But I was
Sade.
really into boy bands too. Like, I was a B2K fan.
Me too.
I was a huge B2K fan.
Which is like
I
the
also really
brothers of
liked
Immature.
NSYNC. I really liked Backstreet Boys. I mean, I like loved them and all their magazines. So I'm like, but I don't remember.
You don't remember your first.
I don't remember who would make me like, oh my god, I want to. No.
So I'm going to date myself.
Like, I'm more of a person for a long time. I was just like, oh no, I'm not going to have sex until I get married. So that was something that I think.
So you just were thinking about it for a long time?
Yeah, and that was my own decision to be like, well, I don't really want to. So that's why I'm like, maybe that's why I don't have like a marker per se, because it's not something I was leaning into.
I got you. Okay, so I'm going to date myself, okay? Because I'm older than these young ladies here. My first, oh my God, I want that, was Blair Underwood on LA Law.
I remember that.
That's how old I am. Okay, so
I don't know about him on LA Law, but when I've seen him.
But Blair Underwood, just period though, like he could get it right. Like Blair, come on, who are we talking about?
Or when I saw Brown Sugar when I was younger, and I used to say Morris and Boris, as in like both fine.
Yes.
I remember both of them being like, oh, they are both fine.
Like so like my boy bands were New Edition. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I'm coming from.
New Edition, Velvet DeVoe,
New Edition. Those are my boy bands. Okay, so. But that, so I love the sketch because it's such a kind of conversation that we would have, right? Like
Absolutely.
What I love about all of these post-event sketches is that they're just normal conversations that you have with your girlfriends, and so never mind that the apocalypse is happening outside.
Right.
We're just going to chat about.
They're just hanging out
and talk about who made us think about sex when we were too young to be thinking about it. And you know what's so funny? Like the point that I love that Quinta made when she said that the only song the song that she lost her virginity off of was the one that the only song that her parents, which is so funny because I feel like growing up, having our parents, like they always try to keep us away from certain things, but the thing that they try to keep us away from was always a thing that gets you into what you're not supposed to be getting into. So
it's like parents have not learned. Parents have not learned after eons of parenting children that the thing you tell us no on is the thing we're gonna do.
Yes,
and
so
you should be like, no broccoli for you. You can't have broccoli. It's for grown folks.
And see, that's what you call reverse psychology, which actually works.
It works.
But
Totally
works. Yeah. Okay, the next sketch was Church Open Mic Part 2. Remember we saw the church open mic the first time where they were in the sanctuary and Robin's character uses the opportunity to work on her comedy set. What I love about these sketches, these church open mic sketches, is that they are so 100% accurate to the Black church experience.
Oh my God, yes.
Anytime you give somebody a microphone in Black church, get comfortable.
It's like it's going to be a testimony.
It's going to be, and
if someone's promoting something, or they're taking that, but even if it's a testimony, it's a moment to say, "Look at me,
look at me,"
or try my pie. Make sure you know it's better than everyone else's.
It's me, oh Lord, I'm standing in the need of prayer. That's what it is.
Right, exactly.
It's a clear eye moment.
It's definitely it's about me, right? But I was telling my girlfriend. My girlfriend is white, and I was trying to explain to her, like in Black church, like people say stuff under the guise of prayer that they can't say in other situations. So somebody will 100% put your business in the street in a prayer.
Yeah.
Call you out on stuff in a prayer.
Doing it for Jesus.
Jesus.
I thought it was also a really good way of highlighting a real prominent problem in the church, which is always self-righteousness. I think that's like the most prevalent one in Black churches, almost also in like any church. Because even if you go to a multicultural church, I've been to both of them. Ego is like the worst. Pride is the worst, and people will always use it to either belittle someone or try to put themselves on a pedestal.
Absolutely.
And we know Jesus is like, no, I'm the only one on a pedestal.
Right.
So,
and you know, like we forget, and I think you know, and then you also like people get so comfortable with their church family that like you just
basically like become who you are, and you pull down those walls of trying to protect yourself from allowing people to see the reality of who you really are.
Yeah.
And that's,
but I mean, it was funny. Like
it was really funny, and the guest stars in this episode.
Oh my gosh, Amber Riley,
Tony Baker. Tony Baker is a stand-up comedian. If you do not know him, you need to find him. He does a lot of clean humor, which I love. He does a lot of church shows, which I love. You can actually get Tony Baker to come to your church and do comedy.
Hello, somebody.
Super nice guy. He actually sometimes brings his kids to the club, like because he raises his own. He's the sole. I think he has sole custody of his kids,
of his
and
sons.
so sometimes he'll be at you'll see him at the comedy club. I'm a stand-up comedian. You'll see him there, and he's got his kids in the corner doing homework. You're like, that's a good daddy, and you know what I'm saying. But in this episode, I loved it. It was Tony Baker and Amber Riley looking for their third for their threesome.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Holler!
Which is so funny because you know we don't normally see that as like something that you know we normally do like as swingers, but I felt like it was maybe kind of like an impersonation of a couple that they kind of wanted to, you know, resemble. That's just my personal opinion, you know, because literally, like, I felt like everybody in this skit was like an impersonation, like, especially when the dude came up. He was like, "I'm from what is his name?
Pastor Venmo Stacks.
Pastor Venmo Stacks,
who was very obviously Creflo Dollar."
Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, like with the old school TD Jakes, because TD Jakes was totally different now.
I was thinking of the old TD Jakes.
I
immediately turned around and said Steve Harvey suit.
Right? Yes. I actually was thinking he was doing a Creflo Dollar just because his name was Venmo Stacks.
Right.
And then Creflo Dollar is another televangelist who is interesting.
But he said mega ministry.
Right.
He said nothing but increased mega ministry.
But increased mega ministry.
Like, oh my gosh.
Because it's like it's also a big thing among black churches, this whole prosperity theology. I went to seminary, so this is my geek thing. I am a super religion geek. But I'm not going to take you there. But there is a lot of like, well, what does this mean for African American people that we're preaching this prosperity gospel? And what does it mean for the people preaching it? And why do Creflo Dollar have like 11 airplanes and shit or whatever?
But the funny thing about it was that everybody left the potluck church and went to the Venmo Stack.
Because Pastor cursed. Like it's so funny, true. Which is also another thing about like how we treat our pastors. As someone who has worked as a pastor in a church, the standards that are set for black clergy is so high, and you get in trouble if you do not meet that standard.
Listen.
Wait, I have a quick question then. Who would you guys say Butterfly is? Well, you said you felt like they were all rereferencing a lot of people. Who do you think Butterfly was? Issa Rae. He's essentially Issa Rae's character who was trying to get her single, in the club. I think that's what it was called, literally in the club.
In the club, right.
Marketing it at church, but she was trying to get
I think they were trying to resemble her as being like a stripper. Like literally. Like I totally feel like that's that girl who she loves Jesus. She loves Jesus, but honey, she's gonna get her dance on.
Saturday night, she at work Saturday night at the club. And then Sunday,
she makes time for the Lord on Sunday.
She be at church on Sunday.
Yeah.
But by the way,
Jesus. Thank you,
but it was funny because she had some side hustles. She was like, I make short content films,
she said,
and I also do hair.
Butterfly clips, because I'll do hair and I also make short form content.
Form content.
Okay. Yes. I was like, okay, I'm liking it. I love it. And her hair, first of all, her hair was like
down to her.
It was like 36 inches.
Yes. So, and let's talk about Quinta's character, like somebody's grandmother who, she starts off, the prayer's good. She's like, bless these hands. And Lord, I don't understand. Why did Sister so-and-so had to make the pie and it was wet?
Because everybody knows I'm the one make the sweet potato pie, which is a very real argument in black church. And it's not even just in black church. Like, you go to a black event, we need to know who made what before we will eat it. Okay?
Right, exactly.
Like, who made the mac and cheese? Because Miss Alice made the mac and cheese, it's going to be good, right? But you don't want to mess with some other people. Miss Teresa's, you don't want to mess with hers because she be putting weird stuff in her mac and cheese and you don't play that.
And we don't eat everybody's cooking.
And we don't
listen.
We don't eat everybody cooking. Everybody can't make your plate. it's rules to this game, y'all.
Right.
And then
But let's talk about, okay, but another thing that I really, and I know everybody's definitely gonna feel me on this one. So, when the comedian came up and, she was telling her jokes and he was like, first of all, what you not gonna do is try to tell your jokes in the Lord's house. He said, turn to your neighbor and say, keep your day job. Like, oh my God. How many times do you go to church and your pastor says, turn to your neighbor?
Yes.
Just like,
Turn to your neighbor
I've died laughing.
Always
Every
turn it to
Sunday.
your
Every
neighbor.
sermon.
Yes.
I'm like, can I turn to a fine guy and say, turn to your neighbor? You look so good.
That's why you be picking your seat real careful when you get
That's
to church.
right, when you get to church.
You don't get there too early. You want to get there a little bit late so everybody can have their seat, and then you do a little scan.
You guys come with agendas, clearly. Y'all going to the Lord's house with agendas.
Look, I'm gonna keep it 100%.
Right.
Okay. Some of why I go to church. I don't go right now, but some of why I've been to church was to meet somebody. Like that's 100% real. There are women, like we all, like it's true.
They do say it's a great place to meet someone. I mean, even
we're not even gonna have that. That's a whole side conversation about what it means to
like,
meet.
I wouldn't say that's totally terrible going with the mindset to meet that.
Yeah, you want to meet a nice Christian man who fear the Lord.
But literally, I was listening to a podcast and the pastor said something. It was like Joel. So he said something to that effect, and then you could hear everyone wrestling. And he said, "Not now." Wait, not now.
Oh my gosh. It's just,
Oh my gosh, church is real, y'all. There could be entire. Like I would love to them to just put
they should do a funeral, because I feel like funerals in church.
A black
funeral. Listen, it is literally like a comedy show, because somebody's falling out, somebody's saying, "Take me with you." They putting you in the casket. It's just so much going on.
Someone's doing the me show grieving.
Listen,
there's a me show grieving.
Straight up, if you have the opportunity to go to a black funeral,
they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
Go, bring some snacks in your bag, because it's gonna be a wall. And please take notes, because you will talk about it for days. Black funeral, most entertaining shit you'll ever do.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Anyway. So Apocalypse 2, which is our second sketch in the post-event world, where they talk about their turn-ons, and Quinta is turned on by yawns for some reason.
That was just strange.
Yeah. And Ashley's turn-on was vocal fry. So vocal fry is when people talk like this, and a lot of the like young white girls talk this way. So that's vocal fry.
I was kind of wondering what exactly that was, and I absolutely hate that.
I hate it.
I know. It's literally like the clear eye, dry eye dude.
It's like, get a glass of water and clear your throat.
What I thought was really funny though is the whole time she kept saying, "You guys, I don't even want to tell you about my
and they kept ignoring her.
And it reminded me of that one friend you always have.
You don't want to hear what her
answer is.
answer
We're not begging for what you want to say. We know you. It's everything you say. It's going to be kind of for attention. So we purposely ignore you, and you still give it to us.
Yeah,
it's like I'm ignoring you.
I am that friend, so I completely felt for her in that moment. I was like, I am that friend.
I feel like I was Quinta, and now I was like, where the snacks at?
Yo, Quinta on them Doritos, though.
Yo, they were so concerned about her drug problem, which I think that's like a later event with it.
Yeah, well, it's
like, that's why you eat so much.
Right.
Because you do drugs.
Danielle was like, we can actually talk about it now. They talked about, this is in the third Apocalypse section.
Right.
They were talking about Quinta has a problem. They're doing an intervention, and it wasn't really about the drugs. They want her to stop eating all the damn snacks. Okay, we are post-apocalypse people. We got to ration the snacks out.
Listen, that is so selfish.
You can't just polish off a bag of Doritos by yourself, Quinta.
And she's over here high, and so she's eating all
because she literally has the munchies. But it's like the idea is that they're not even concerned about her drug problem.
No,
they're just concerned about we need to eat.
Okay, but the way that it wrapped, I thought was hilarious. The way they kind of brought it back to being practically basically the last people on the planet.
Right.
Where Quinta, they thought she ate the last of the ice cream, and it's not ice cream that she happened to leave over. It was it
Robin's
emergency sperm. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, post-apocalypse, you're gonna need it, right?
It's 100% real. And I will tell you, young people, young women, plan for your fertility. Get you some sperm, put in the freezer. I'm just playing. That's not how you do it. But do some research.
But you're supposed to freeze
and
your
find
eggs.
out.
That's not how it works.
But find out. Find out. I just wish that someone had told me when I was a younger woman to make a plan for my fertility instead of assuming that I would eventually meet someone and create a family with them.
But definitely do your research.
Do your research.
There is, to some extent, where it is a business, where I've done some research, and it's not it is pressing, but not as pressing as the pressure that everyone puts it on you.
It's not like you have to do it by the time you're 29.
And it is like $5,000.
Yeah.
Because
do your research.
I mean, $5,000, that's just about how much somebody would probably pay just to get a plastic surgery done. But at the end of the day, I think that now I think that the statistics have grown a little bit older than I thought, because at first I thought they said 35, but it's different.
Yeah, it's no longer, I don't think it's 35 anymore.
I don't.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably get into a whole other show.
That's a whole other show.
I got a lot to say.
But if you guys want to like get in the chat and talk about fertility stuff, we are here for it. So, so then the next sketch that they did was Chris and Lachelle.
Oh my gosh. On their honeymoon.
In the exit row.
And we see Yvonne Ari. She's just killing it.
Yvonne Orji.
I love
Yvonne Orji. She is the best.
I love her.
She does this amazing podcast with Lovey Ajayi called Naja something, right?
Yeah, Jesus and Jollof.
Jesus and Jollof, and they're both Nigerian. They talk about growing up as Nigerian women, young women, and then obviously Yvonne Orji plays Molly on Insecure, so we love.
She's hilarious.
Her. But that sketch with Chris and Lachelle, and the fact that they cannot answer a direct question.
They can never say yes.
They can never just say yes.
Never just say yes.
We heard every form of yes known to man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really
so funny.
So funny.
But I feel like a lot of times, especially our generation, we don't say yeah. We like yeah, what? It's all these little.
And do you remember your parents every time? I know when I would say yeah, my mom would say yes.
Oh my gosh.
Because all the time.
Yeah
isn't a word. They would say yeah is not a real word.
Because it's
like,
actually kind of disrespectful.
It is. Yeah, that's what my parents' thing was.
But it's
disrespectful.
Also like
your mom would be like.
My mom would be like. Your grammar.
Right. My mom would be like, she'd be like, Nikki, and I would go, huh? And she'd be like, huh? Who you hi to? And then I'd be like,
friend.
Yeah, right. I'm not your little friend.
Right. I'm not your friend. I brought you in this world. I take you out.
They always say, I'm not your
okay. I don't want to die.
Black mama isms. Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm not your little. I'm not one of your little friends out here. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
I feed you.
I love this. Millicent D is in the chat, and she said that Prince was her first. That turned her on.
I understand that. I do. I get
Prince,
that. Listen, Prince is the only prettiest man alive that can have that many women, and every woman that Prince has ever had was beautiful. I mean, I remember Teddy Riley did an interview, and he said, "Listen, we all know whenever we bring Prince around, the women like he ain't." He gonna take them on, like literally.
Prince, it's so funny when my aunt and uncle took me to see Purple Rain when I was a kid, and they sent me to get licorice during the sex scene, and so for years I did not see the sex scene. After Prince died, I rewatched Purple Rain and was like,
I missed something.
I didn't know all that happened.
You couldn't see that.
I did not know for years. I did not know. Yeah,
that's so funny.
That's funny.
But yeah. That
was a good tactic.
They were like, go get some candy, and I was like, okay.
Eat it out there too.
Right.
Oh my gosh, so that was funny. That was so, and I love Chris and Lachelle, and I hope that they bring them back because they're a
super funny.
And I love Robin playing.
Oh my gosh,
dude.
Yes.
So
I also just say
she kind of looks like Prince a little bit though.
She does.
She had a little bit of that. I was gonna say also, I loved the guest appearance by Broderick Hunter. I did a quick take, a double take, the same time Quinta did. I was like, Broderick Hunter's here.
All right, Broderick.
All right, okay. I'll sit next to him on the flight.
Actually said yes.
Simple.
He's like, yes. Oh, she's like, Jesus, won't he? Yes, he would do it. Thank you very much.
Yes, Quinta. I do think it's funny though, like in the opening shot of the opening sequence with the puppets, Quinta is the one who kisses a guy in front of her man. So I wonder, like if they were like just sort of going back to that, like,
right,
was like
before,
funny,
like pre-marriage.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Interesting.
Anyway, so let's move on to the cool handshake teacher needs a win. This was so sad. This sketch actually made me sad.
Really, you know what it is? It was super funny, but it's the truth that you cannot trick children.
You
like
can't trick them.
Kids are gonna be honest with you like 100%, especially
100%.
especially young black kids. They're gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna be honest with you and be like, listen, ma'am, something's wrong with you. We don't know what it is, but you keep doing these handshakes and we don't like them, and we just trying to be nice to you. Like literally, like, and like
real talk. You
kids,
need
that's
to know,
how they are.
You need to know who you are and feel secure and confident in yourself if you're gonna work with young black kids. Because I working in after school program with young black kids, the first full week they made fun of my voice the whole time. They're like, "This is how she talks." The whole time. Don't mess with them. Kids are terrifying.
They are.
Terrifying. I think what was so funny is they also highlighted the innocence that those same kids had. Because they're like simply asking, why aren't your cheeks shiny anymore? And it's like,
right.
I don't wear highlighter anymore. I didn't know that. And what did she say? She said the teacher's full like hyphenated name.
Oh, yes.
And it was just on accident. I just thought it was so funny how even a child's innocence can really like reveal so much more. Yeah. Especially in like a broader sense, how kids are so innocent with what's happening today. They'll play with kids of other races until somebody says something like, wait, why can't I play with him? What's wrong with him or her? So I just think it's kind of cool the way that they highlighted that, even though it was very sad and kind of funny.
And turned around and used her own handshake on her to make her feel better. I was like,
it was precious. It was
those positive affirmations
and it's
again.
because someone had been saying to them the whole time, I am smart. I am smart. You know, so I love that they gave that back to her. It was to me a less funny sketch and a more.
It was more hard. It was more hard hitting.
I thought that it was absolutely hilarious because it was just like, because she was like, really? Oh, what? And then she had a spot on her head.
Oh, she's doing her own hair. She's
like, you burned your hair.
You're doing your own hair now.
You're doing your own hair because you can't afford it.
Right, that part. They just completely put her on blast. They were like, first of all, so you tried to use a flat iron or a hot comb and it just didn't hit your hair. It just kind of hit your forehead.
Which makes perfect sense because she has that one side of her head that's flipped out and you're like, what's going on? Right. So I loved this, and I loved also that it ended with this is actually a California lottery commercial. When you really need a win. Like
I was on the floor. I was like,
so funny.
Oh, that was
hilarious.
That was a really good one. So then our last sketch was The Annoying Woman, which guest starred Sonia Eddy and Yvette Freeman. Sonia Eddy from Orange is the New Black. Yvette Freeman, who is on a soap opera. I want to say One Life to Live. Anyway, so they're both amazing. Again, bringing in black actresses that maybe we don't recognize as the most amazing, wonderful, awesome people that they are. But hella yes, love this. But this sketch struck us a little.
Was sketch.
Like this sketch was a little weird for us. We
all over the place.
We were like,
I think I was completely confused because, and it's so funny because I remember we had a conversation about it. Maybe, they're like interpreting the fact that she's a millennial and she's just over the top. She's super dramatic. And, just because we get that attention on social media, when we get into real life, we really just can't connect with people because we're so like tuned to being, well, why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? And then people are just like, they get to the point where they're so, and not even necessarily embarrassed. It's just like, they're like, oh, this is like the social media girl. Like this is the, that's that influencer person. So it's like, oh, she's weird, and we don't want to give her that attention that she's craving for.
What I thought was interesting is that obviously she's been annoying her whole life. It's not even just that she just got into social media. So that she's been annoying her whole life, and then. So to me, as someone who did not grow up with social media, I'm like, she's been annoying her whole life. No wonder she's an influencer. Totally. Like she needs the attention. So so that made sense. It was just kind of like, it was one of those ones where I wasn't entirely sure. So like if you know about sketch comedy, one of the things that all the different sketch schools have their own theories and philosophies, but I study at Upright Citizens Brigade, and they teach you about the game of the sketch. So the game is, what is the funny thing? And whatever the funny thing is, that's what you repeat, and that becomes like the thing of the sketch.
And that's what you build your comedy off of.
Yeah, and I felt like I didn't get the game in this sketch. And that was, it was like, is the game her voice? Yeah. Is the game that people are acting like they don't know who she is?
That's what I think it was.
Game, is the game, or is the game that she's in the wrong place? Like, it was like, I just wasn't sure I was following it.
Well, see, at the end, like, once everybody kind of like, they were like, oh yeah, we finally got her. Ooh, she get on our nerve. Like, everybody, I'm like, what was it about
like they
this
were all in on
girl
it.
that was to the point where
her own parents
were like, we don't even know. I was so confused by that because I was just like, I want to laugh, but I'm just.
But
I mean,
that's why the only thing I felt about it was really that the only way I like connected to it was like the only thing real pull I had was like maybe it's because I mean she's an influencer, she comes in thinking that everyone should know who she is,
right.
Because I was so well known before, or in her mind she thought she was so well known as a child and was so boisterous all the time that now that I'm even on social media, you guys should totally know who I am.
And also, like, we have that like, I mean, you know, like, there's the whole idea that social media really makes you a person, like, makes you, and like that's,
and then the whole thing around millennials and Gen Z is that they always think that they're owed something, and that's why she came up to everybody kind of like,
maybe
you don't
that's
remember,
it.
You know what?
But it was a little out there.
Okay. I'm kind of thinking about it. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but one of the funniest things about that skit besides her was the fact that they had the Shook Avery Foundation. Did you guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
I saw. And so I was like, well, maybe it's because she's just awkward. She's so awkward, and you know, she talks like this, like, oh my God, and like maybe like her awkwardness doesn't make her fit in with everybody else. Yeah. And so they're like, ooh, she's different. So
we might need to like think on that. Let me see if anybody's talking about it in the chat.
If it could be. If you really think about it today, a lot of the biggest influencers are the ones who were the most ridiculed when they were younger, like they didn't fit in, or people who've really grown professionally, like let's say like Winnie Harlow. I'm not saying I don't know how ridiculed she was, but she has like very obvious vitiligo patches, and now she's one of the biggest models in the world, and she is essentially an influencer. So I wonder if it's having those sort of battles also kind of like if they're kind of showcasing that, not that Winnie is like annoying or anything like that, but some of the bigger influencers are like, well, you know, I used to get told I should, should never be here anymore, or everyone used to make fun of me, but now I'm really big and I have a million followers.
Right, so like those people who were like me. Those influencers who are like, I've overcome so much and everyone knows me now, and I'm like,
and they all want to be my friends now.
And then the reality is, no, they're still just awful.
But you know one thing that I noticed about it. And this is something that we definitely deal with in black culture. You know how you have, someone who talks different, like they're super proper, or like you can tell like they're just different, like they don't, they don't have that urban ebonics, lingo. So all of a sudden we're gonna ostracize you because you don't seem like, literally, I mean, I'm telling, like, once I go back and kind of like build in the sketch, I can see maybe that's the reason why she felt ostracized, because honestly, a lot of African American girls, who speak very proper sometimes, and I noticed
I've
this,
had this experience myself, that we're like,
when I was in school,
totally.
like if you speak really, really proper and
you're trying to act white,
right,
the whole,
and if you don't speak urban, it's like, oh, she's one of them. Like that's something that we dealt with, and of course, this show is about taking everything that we deal in black culture and literally like make fun of it,
hyperbolize it, for sure.
All right, so we don't know entirely what that sketch is about, but we're running out of time, so I want to make sure that we get to our important segment. So let's talk about our special segment.
Yes!
Where we feature a funny black woman in comedy. So, Sade, who's on the slab today?
Who's on the spotlight today? It is Phoebe Robinson. Yes, I love her. She is known for Two Dope Queens, which started as a podcast and then became an HBO special, running prominently with her partner Jessica Williams. And now she's been in a few movies. She's been in a Ibiza movie, which was a Netflix movie, and then onto What Men Want with Taraji P. Henson, which is huge, under Will Packer. And now, actually just announced August 14th, she will be having her own late night interview show on Comedy Central.
Yes, I love that. Yes.
Awesome. So this is actually gonna be part of her own production company called Tiny Reparations.
Wow.
And I did pull one quote that she said about it really quick. She said, "This show will hit that sweet spot between educational and charmingly ignorant." Who doesn't love that? Well, all older black people who struggled and marched for my rights. But besides that, everyone else does.
Yay,
I love it. Yes, baby.
Yes. All hail the queen.
Yes. Okay, we've been trying to get a black woman in a late night position for a long time. Monique tried it. Robin tried it. Now we gonna make it work, okay? We gonna watch you, Phoebe. We watch
We
you.
watch you. We support you.
We gonna watch you. We
100
support
grand.
you. And do we have any news?
Of course.
News and gossip.
We have news. Now, of course, we know next episode is going to be the season finale, and all of the ladies gave us a little bit of information about what's going to happen on next season to let us know that there's going to be a next season.
Woo!
So Robin actually posted this beautiful picture of herself and her cat on the couch, talking about how a Black Lady sketch show is going to be coming back for a season 2 on HBO. Now we do know that, of course, Insecure is going to be on HBO, so it's going to be interesting to see them both together, or maybe not. Maybe.
But I think that would be a great night of comedy to have them both together.
That'd be a great 2020.
I think that they're like trying to put like Black women in comedy as a big thing on HBO. I see it.
Thank you, HBO. About time.
But I do want to say that Robin did make a quote. She said, "Whew, if you have a dream, let me tell you that you too can make it happen with a team of unstoppable Black women. So get all your friends together like I did and make whatever magic you choose," which, that's definitely inspirational, knowing that Robin's story coming from the BT show and end up getting canceled. And we talked a little bit about it last week, that Issa Rae actually reached out to her and she's like, "Listen, let me produce this new TV show for you."
Issa Rae called her, and Robin thought Issa Rae was calling just to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry your show got canceled." But Issa Rae was like, "What you doing next?"
Exactly.
I got a deal at HBO. Let's make something happen.
Now that is
sisterhood.
Yes.
That is how we do it.
That's Black girl magic.
Black girl magic. Hello.
Now let's also talk about Ashley.
What's going on with Ashley with her hair right here?
Let's talk about a little bit of gossip. Ashley was on set getting her hair and makeup done, and she just decided to post this little cute picture, which I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, so she was on set getting ready for one of her scenes, and she decided that she wanted to give us a little bit of her character, so that's what I wanted to show you guys.
And this is her. This is a blowout.
So blowout. Listen,
being blown back together.
Everything.
This is what you call Black girls.
That's part of the Black girl crown.
That's part of the process.
It takes a lot of different forms.
It does.
Absolutely.
That's that one.
And what she always talks about her hair on the show.
She does.
So.
And she doesn't wrap it. What? We'll get back to that. Wait, that's a whole episode. They talked about it. She doesn't wrap her hair in a scarf. She doesn't sleep on a satin pillowcase.
Blasphemy.
It's scandalous. Guys, we're at the end of our show. We've had an amazing, awesome, wonderful time with you. Ladies, where can folks find you on the social media, Sade?
You can find me at Sade A. Spence on basically all social channels.
You can find me at Neema Skye, NeemaSkye, all social media platforms.
And you can find me, Nikki Bailey, at Nikki Bailey _ on all the social medias. We will be back next week for the season finale of A Black Lady Sketch Show. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.